friends.
Hey, friends.
Welcome to our first tour rundown.
Our first Southwest United States tour rundown.
Yeah.
And we're happy to say that the tour was intermingled with a little bit of vacation because we wanted to see certain national features like the Grand Canyon.
The Grand Canyon.
And we did that. So it was maybe not as profitable as it could have been, but overall...
It was
profitable.
If we're talking strictly financially, okay, whatever. If we're talking about emotional wellness and mental health, it was extraordinarily profitable.
Yes. And if people want to know how to be profitable as a musician, then I think you have to tour and do it within your means. You can't travel with 35 people if you're an unknown and expect to make money.
Right.
So we traveled just the two of us.
Just the two of us.
The tour vehicle was a late model Buick LaCrosse.
Yeah.
Eco version, eco-friendly.
Yeah.
So we,
So gas budget friendly.
The 30 miles per gallon definitely helped out on the, versus
the band vehicle, which is
our trailer,
a Suburban. Yeah. And
so we started off, it was March 31st, we left here.
Yep.
On tour. We actually decided to leave a night early because the first venue was almost 8 hours away.
Yes.
And we didn't want to...
We never want to show up tired for a show if we can manage it.
Yeah. Almost 11 days and having 6 shows in those 11 days or 7 shows. We'll talk about them all,
it was one right after another for the first 6 of the shows.
We figured we didn't want
the first
to
5 of the
be
shows.
exhausted.
Mm-hmm. Start exhausted.
We could start by being there, waking up, having the day off, and then
see the city a little bit, or rest, whatever we needed to do.
Perform our first show. So the first show was Tuesday, April 1st.
Yeah, April Fool's Day. At Nathan P. Murphy's in Springfield, Missouri.
A historic venue that I believe he told us had been in business
43 years.
43 years.
Yep.
Hosted artists like Tab Benoit, Joe Bonamassa used to play there a lot, I guess, when he was starting out. The Spencer Davis Group, just to name a few. Basically every major touring blues and R&B act from the 70s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 2010s. Maybe not 70s, so 80s, 90s. I think he started in the early 80s.
Well, Dr. Bob had a successful 29-year radio commission. And so he has hosted and talked to just a multitude of musicians over the years, and he's a wealth of stories and knowledge and memories, and he and Wanda were both extremely hospitable to us.
And the sound man
was Jamie, amazing. He was fantastic. Yeah, we just had a great time. The vibe of the place is so on point. It's so great. They have beautiful stained glass. They have so many show posters up on the walls. Just a gorgeous venue, and they're not a restaurant. They're not like a bar. They are a listening room. So they open when they have.
Right? I mean,
they have a bar.
Venue only, right?
Yeah, they. But they open because of music. So they're for musical acts.
What a way to kick off the tour.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
Right? So the history was amazing. We had a good show. A duo. This is a duo tour, so just the two of us,
Yep.
Little intimidating being on the stage where all those famous people played.
Not at all. It was fantastic. It was an honor. It was an honor.
Actually, you could kind of feel the vibes of it.
It really was, yeah.
It was a great vibe, and
we even had little ghosts in the machines, with the power. We had to move power around because we had just
something not turning on and turned out to be a bad outlet, and then
it's the feel of the building though. It's almost to be expected to have those little run-ins, and it's almost like a tip of the hat to those that have been there.
And we were invited back, so what a great way to kick off the tour. So. That was night 1, and
from there we traveled west on to Oklahoma City, Oklahoma.
So Oklahoma City was
the Blue
another
Door.
Historic venue, and this was a Wednesday night. These midweek shows can be tough, But we did sell a lot of merch at both venues, which really helped out. Like putting money in the till for the tour.
Yeah, Greg really hosted us well there too.
We had said when we left if we could just break even for hotels and maybe gas, that we'd be happy on the first leg of the tour, the first 3 nights or so. And because they were all midweek, and we did better than that, so that was nice.
It was fantastic.
And Greg was amazing at the Blue Door. His venue's been in business 33 years. 33 years.
Yeah.
So like between the two, over 75 years of existence, which is good to see with all the venues going out.
Also, like super vibey place with show posters everywhere. He hosted Guthrie.
Woody Guthrie, Arlo Guthrie, also Gillian Welch and Dave Rawlings, and the list went on and on and on. You know,
it was just fantastic. Just walking around pre-show, had a actual green room.
Yes,
and we got to go around and look at all the history that's just right there for you to look at on the wall.
And we had a short, like 40-minute walk before the show around town. That was nice. There was a
boba tea place, I like Popping Pearls a lot.
And we got an Airbnb for the night, which was nice. We stayed the first 2 nights because we were there a night early in a hotel, which was fine. And then that was a great show as well.
Yeah, it was fun.
There was some people
a lot of fun.
Town for a conference that we caught, and
they were there from Philadelphia.
It was great.
Yeah, it was really great, and it just like it nestled into the show. In a way, those of you that enjoy going to see live shows, you understand the energy of the space changes depending on the audience that you have and the mood of everybody. And it was just such a lovely cycle of give and take of the energy with the audience there. It was beautiful.
So, again, we sold a good amount of merch. That was nice. I think almost everybody there bought something, just like the first night.
It was great.
And
I hope they're enjoying it.
And, so got a good night's sleep in the Airbnb, which was literally like a mile down the road.
Yeah, it was great.
Didn't get much of a chance to check out Oklahoma City, however, because
we were off westward again.
Westward, and we made our way. So we'd already been in Springfield, Missouri, Oklahoma City, and then we were
in Illinois for a touch of a second. Like you cross over a bridge
right before we get to,
and then you're in it for really not even half a mile, and then you're on another bridge.
Drove through Oklahoma City, drove through Texas, drove into New Mexico,
New
Mexico.
First time in New Mexico.
Our first time in New Mexico.
So we were in Clayton, New Mexico, at the Hotel Eckland.
Yes. So this place is great, and we're gonna have pictures too interwoven while we speak, and that
information's for me.
The bar, that information's for you because you've probably already seen pictures. But the bar that was there is amazing. It dates back to, so the building itself dated back to late 1800s, early 1900s, I believe. And
I think it's like 1886. I'd have to relook it up.
Basically, it had been a bar, and the savory things that went on upstairs, and
unsavory
things. Maybe.
Well, it had been,
depending on your point of view.
It had been a public house and brothel that did really well, and so they expanded.
They doubled the size, and the owner, which I think his first name was Robert, but I'm not sure. Robert Eckland. He was a Swedish man.
I do not remember.
Which I instantly pictured the Swede from Hell on Wheels.
Yes.
And he had won the bar.
In a poker game.
About 40 miles away, from my understanding. And maybe it was 20, but the story is the same, is that they couldn't get it in a train car.
It was so big.
It was so big that they couldn't get it in a train car. And he actually hired a team of horses to drag it back to the bar.
Yeah.
So, of course, I had to belly up and have a whiskey neat at this bar.
Yeah.
Like, how else are you not going to do that? So that was our first show that was not a ticketed show on the run, and it was a dinner crowd.
So they have a beautiful,
nice, which we're very familiar with dinner crowds.
So the Hotel Eckland, they have a beautiful space, a dining area that's like a formal dining area, and then they have a more casual setup dining space for their restaurant, and they have a bar there, and above they have the hotel rooms, which are lovely, and the restaurant area where we were set up to play music. There were diners that were there watching watching the show that we were giving and having, their dinner and just enjoying a lovely, windy, extraordinarily windy
I think it was one of the most
time.
windy days that I remember.
For me, there was a regular car, like a regular car flipped over in the middle of the road.
On the way there, yeah.
Just in the middle of the road because it was so windy. It's just like flipping cars over.
On the way there, you got to say what you saw.
Yes. Okay. So I had 2 things that I wanted to see on my trip out west. 1 was a tumbleweed and 2 was a roadrunner. So on the way to Hotel Eklund, right as we crossed over the Texas border and into Mexico, Dave said, "Look, a tumbleweed." And we saw the most epic tumble of a tumbleweed come straight across the road right in front of us. It made it all the way across the road. We didn't run it over. It had a great time. I had a great time. I was more excited than I had any right to be, and told everybody from the rest of the tour about this tumbleweed. So yeah. It was really fantastic.
It was pretty much the most perfect way to see a tumbleweed rather than just seeing one on the side of the road.
It was great. So at Hotel Eklund, the owners, Keith and Jeanette, they were so nice. They hosted us. It served us dinner. Christy gave us so much history about the space. She's the one that told the story about the bar and kind of gave us the tour around. And
they gave us a room for the night.
Yeah.
Which was nice. We had dinner and breakfast.
Very lovely. Yeah, the breakfast is in the formal area.
Of tips and made a good amount of. I think we sold a couple pieces of merch there.
We had a great time. We just had a really good time, and it was restful. The time that we spent there was good
the whole time.
It was, yeah.
Which probably I didn't ask about, but. So and we woke up the very next morning. Of course, it was a really hard commute to the hotel room up 1 floor. So,
yeah, well, it was up 2 floors. We were on floor 3.
And it was a dinner show, so we were done fairly early. So by the time we finished eating and packed up and everything, it was not even 9 o'clock.
And it was really strange to us too because we kept gaining hours as we were crossing time zones. So we gained time. And we had relatively early shows. So we were still rip roaring, ready to go, and we're like, oh, we got to wind down. We got to get up in the morning. So on in the morning. Further westward.
We headed west to
Albuquerque, New Mexico. Yeah.
Albuquerque.
Which was equally windy.
It was very windy.
And cold.
Town still, and we were freezing. It was getting pretty cold.
Yeah.
And, of course, I think I packed more shorts than jacket. So I was blissfully unprepared.
Same.
And,
I had 3 pairs of shorts that I did not touch, but to move around and curse because I didn't have more pants or a jacket.
So we were playing at the Press Club, the Albuquerque Press Club, which is a members-only club.
What a really cool space.
A historic building also. It's a log cabin right in the middle of downtown. So, which Albuquerque does have some sprawl to it.
It does.
It's pretty impressive. Probably the biggest city on the tour so far.
It was smashed up against a mountain range. It was just up against the mountain range.
Oklahoma City was pretty big, but we didn't get to really go downtown to see the full extent. And they might be around the same size. I'm not sure. So we had a chance to grab a coffee, and since it was a members only club, it was closed during the day, and we were early, but not early enough that we had a chance to really check anything out. So
afterward we did a little bit,
and so we waited and we got set up. And the log cabin is set up more like a house. It's interesting. Yeah, they have a big great room right in the.
It's right really
as you walk
cool.
In
so if you would imagine, when you're a kid and you're like, I'm gonna have a clubhouse and it's gonna have this and this and this. Okay, but when you're an adult. So they imagined all the bits that they wanted, and they just
they got
put them in there.
Table room. They got one room that's the bar, of course, and
a little eating area.
They got these little it's weird.
Book alcoves around where you can just read or
I think it was an
write.
Outpost at some point. It seemed because it was it has some down and ups and secret doors almost.
Yeah, it's really cool.
And a lot of outdoor porches, but it was too cold to be on the porches.
It was super windy and cold.
And the room itself, the great room, was pretty drafty. So.
It was.
But
you could see where the log cabin with the chinking, that you could tell it had a horsehair or some sort of a fur that they used as chinking.
We had a great show. They were very hospitable to us.
They were.
And of course, now we're Press Club members, so we can go back and visit them anytime.
Yeah. So thanks to Kim for getting us set up and getting us to be members, honorary members
guy
there.
were delightful
Nate,
to talk to for quite a while. And then afterwards, we got some really fusion tacos.
Super great tacos.
Just around the corner, we got some fusion tacos, and they were probably
so good.
the best food on the tour so far. Maybe with the exception of Hotel Eklund, because
that was good.
Really
yeah,
good food too.
I don't know. Like, I don't even know how to grade. I'm just
they were
all
totally
the food
different
was
styles,
good.
Totally different styles. So,
and we stopped and had sushi in Texas, which was a surprising place to have good sushi. Good. Yeah.
So we got back to, I don't forget, we had an Airbnb.
We stayed. We had a hotel in Grant.
So we had been given the advice to not stay perhaps in Albuquerque directly. So
they have been having a little rash of some car break-ins specifically.
So we decided that with our band equipment to be the safest, we would move on out of town.
We also had quite a distance to cover in between Albuquerque and Phoenix.
We didn't want quite the ride in the morning because the next morning we were moving into Phoenix to play a private party.
And we had been told, like, pretty much the entire trip, we were outrunning weather by literal hours. Yeah. So there was really bad, like, tornadic weather coming into Springfield right as we were leaving. Right. There was, Oklahoma City, it's like everything was pushing in right behind us.
And then we got here and it was calling for snow. So we went out to Grants, New Mexico.
New Mexico.
And we stayed just off the interstate at a little hotel. And we woke up to 3 or 4 inches of snow on our car.
So much snow, just out of nowhere.
Wet snow coming down, and
again, no jacket. We packed shorts.
We decided to head out though because one, like, we only could stay so long at the hotel, but we needed to be in Phoenix, and also we knew that maybe we could outdrive it by driving into it. It was going to last less time if we stood still.
So I will say this: this was by far the worst morning of the entire trip. First, we did not breakfast well. We gas station breakfast, which was not the best. We were
worried about possibly having a really slow commute for a long time.
We wanted to get going, so we opted for this, but it was cold. It was wet.
We didn't have our winter jackets.
We didn't. And the main thing that was the negative, the main thing for me that was the negative was because there was so much snow, it was actively snowing. The vistas that we had been so used to just catching a look at wherever we went, these beautiful views.
Visibility
completely
was about 100 yards.
Nothing. You could see the semi-truck in front of you.
Until we came into Arizona, and then we saw some...
almost at the border.
Yeah, almost
at the border of Arizona.
Some rock formation, and we joked that, the whole trip we joked that we saw all 4 seasons in one day.
We did.
We went from a snowy, cold winter with heavy, wet snow into like
it was blustery.
A misty, warm, rainy.
Yeah, like a springish.
Yeah. And then we went to like a cool, cold, breezy fall. And then we went straight back into summer.
It was summer.
Which was a full on like 85 degrees.
So we had gone that morning so what I did pack, I had sweaters and I had a hoodie. It's not a jacket. That's not a coat at all. So I have layered hoodie with sweater over the top. Yeah. So by the time we got into Phoenix, I had jeans, as much clothes as we could kind of do. I had peeled out of my outer layers because it was 90 degrees. So we had gone from literal 3 inches of snow that morning to 90 degrees out in Phoenix.
It was crazy. And this is where we got into town and are now friends. We've been friends for a little while, I'd say. Tina and Jack.
Yes.
That we became friends through the Sunday Shout Out. Yes. They followed us. They commented on our photos, but
we really had a chance to get to know them better.
We've seen them at several shows throughout the years.
Yeah, they've come out
past couple years, and we had arranged to have a house party with them, which we're so excited about.
Yeah.
And we'd love to do a house party with you guys too. So if you want to have a house party, let us know where you live.
We can make it happen.
And we will work it out with you because it's so much fun.
It is so much fun. So, we had a great time. And getting to know Jack and Tina more personally was, really a treasured gift.
It was.
To me. And also getting to know the people that love them because they were there to celebrate with them. They were celebrating double birthdays for them. And so getting to know the people that love these people that we're getting to know. It really gives you an inside look, a different perspective
really cool.
about them. So the people that they've chosen to surround themselves with are really just quality people and lovely. And
it was.
And what a beautiful experience.
Backyard.
Yeah.
It was amazing. Like,
yeah.
We had so full. And again, with the wind. So windy that it blew the hats right off our head.
Yeah.
It sent people running for cover at one point because lawn furniture was starting to flip over.
Yeah.
And people went running for cover, and we thought that was a good time to take our set break, so we did. And
yeah, and we had a lovely young man come up and play some songs on guitar during our break. It was just a really fantastic
All the neighbors
experience.
Were there, so nobody could really complain.
I
think. And we cut off at the sound limit time, whenever that was, and we just had a really good time. We spent the night. We got really well rested. They had a nice private place for us to stay.
Yeah, they were so incredibly hospitable. They not only did they host us for a place to stay, they gave us snacks and meals, and
they
just
really rolled out the red carpet and made us feel like
truly
we were part of their friend group,
honored guests. Really,
nice.
they made me feel really like an honored guest.
More so than like an honored guest. Like I felt like really like a part of their friend group.
Yeah,
So that was really nice.
Yeah. So and beautiful. Tina took me that next morning on a walk. They have these lovely canal systems all through Phoenix for part of their water treatment, and then they have at their water treatment area, it's a nature walk. So they have turned something that is really like kind of distasteful into this beautiful haven for waterfowl, and almost like they've gone through and done kind of a horticulturalist sort of thing where they've got placards showing the different plants that grow in the area, and there were people around taking photos of all the wildlife and whatnot. It was just really a family experience. People were out there biking and walking and whatnot, and we went on this lovely walk hunting for a roadrunner. And we think we caught a glimpse of a dream, of a memory, of the tale of a roadrunner.
That was just you, not me. So
Dave wasn't with us. So we're just not going to count the roadrunner. I don't think I got to see my roadrunner.
You certainly didn't get a full-on view.
Not at all. I might have caught the tail end of a tail of a roadrunner.
So the next part of the tour, that we woke up, we slept the night away.
Yep.
And
spent some of the day with them.
We actually kind of chatted and drank and hang out the night away. And
it was fun. Yeah.
Next evening we slept in. Next morning we slept in a good bit.
Yep.
And we had we had lunch with them and hung out for the afternoon. But we decided that we were kind of fluent at this point because we had scheduled on purpose. Like, we had a Sunday show originally kind of lined up for like either Flagstaff or that area, but it never really quite materialized.
Well, we wanted like you say, we wanted to be a little fluid so that we could be able to go see the Grand Canyon on our own time without squishing it in.
We knew at this point was when we wanted to see the Grand Canyon.
Yes.
We were the closest we were going to be on the tour.
The furthest west.
And the furthest west.
That we were going.
So, like I said, we tried to squeeze in like the Flagstaff show, but it never really materialized, and then we had another show for on the way back that kind of never materialized. But we had planned on having 2 or 3 days off in there. So
I have been grateful for the show, but also I love the way it worked
almost
out.
Perfectly.
Yeah.
So we had 3 days. I'm going to pause for 1 second and check the camera.
Okay.
We decided that we were going to take off on Sunday afternoon, and we were going to get an Airbnb in Flagstaff for 2 nights. And we were going to enjoy Flagstaff that night. And then the next day, we were going to drive out to Grand Canyon.
Early in the morning. Because
spend all day
everything
there.
that we heard was you get there early, you don't have the line to get into the park because you want to get your ticket to get in the park, and you want to be able to see what you're going to see without being crowded.
So one thing, like going into this, like one of the reasons we decided to do the Grand Canyon trip was, one, we were going to be close with the party. And then that actually fueled the whole tour because we decided to book the whole tour based off the party and the fact that we want to see the Grand Canyon. So it's a bucket list item for Ashley and I. And it was something that we thought maybe we would do on our 25th anniversary, which is coming up, actually.
Yeah, so in June we'll have been married 25 years.
So we decided that we would go for it.
Yeah.
And so we had,
so glad.
Even though early, we decided that when we got into Flagstaff, we settled down, we decided we would have our anniversary dinner.
Yes.
And we went out to a beautiful Italian restaurant, which was
called
so good.
Not pizza. Fat Stromboli, something. Oh, now I can't remember. Okay, it's in Flagstaff. There's a place right next. It's an Italian place. It's
Fat Louie's.
No, it's not a name. It's like part of the name.
Okay.
Anyway,
Okay.
so it's right next door. You can look it up because I remember right next door is Fat
We'll post
Bagel.
it here.
Fat Olives. Fat Olives.
That's right.
Yes.
So
Yeah, Fat Olives.
And there was a wait.
So good.
Which usually we're not big on waits. No, so we were like,
not patient.
However, sometimes when you're on tour and you have the time and you hear a wait, that means the food's good. So
and it had been recommended by our Airbnb. Yes. So if you're not familiar with Airbnb, a lot of them have like a little welcome book for how you're supposed to treat the space, how you're supposed to leave it when you're done, and like how to use if they have any specialty items like a Roku box or a steam shower. This one had a steam shower, which I had never experienced before. But they also have recommendations usually for local restaurants or local attractions
to see. We're feeling Italian though, so we decided. And
they said this Fat Olives, and so Dave looked it up, and we said, let's go.
And it was so good.
It was so good.
No regrets. It was
we had a cast iron dish of some sort of cheese thing that you put on crusty bread.
It was like a mozzarella blend.
Mozzarella and ricotta. Yeah, it was so amazing. It was bubbling, and if you like cheese.
It was very good. So we kicked it off. We went back and had a great night's sleep.
Yep.
Fat and happy, so
got
to speak.
Early.
Got up early the next morning and got ready, and we were comfortable having the Airbnb for 2 nights because it was private and secluded, that we could leave all our equipment inside the Airbnb.
And when you woke up, like you open the curtain, there is a big mountain.
Yeah.
Just so lovely.
It was great. So then we took the trip to the Grand Canyon, which was about an hour.
Yeah.
I want to say.
Hour and 15 or so.
So we decided that, as soon as we got there, we both
needed to use the bathroom, like pretty bad.
Coffee, we drank coffee all the way there.
But the Grand
we had
Canyon,
Fat Bagels in the morning on the way in.
So good.
That was also
we've talked about Fat Bagels on one of the earlier chats, but Fat Bagels,
that we went
twice, which is not a common thing because Dave really likes to try new things.
But I was able to try new things at Fat Bagels.
It was so good, just so darn good. So shout out to all the fat restaurants in Flagstaff. We're here for it.
We decided that once we got there, we weren't going to go look for the bathroom. Since we were like under like
5 minute walk.
Under
it said
5 minute walk.
There was a sign that said 5 minute walk.
Go in the full glory and then go back to the bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
So all I can say is that upon first viewing at the South Rim, the English language doesn't explain it well enough because we've abused the words, but I was taken aback, flabbergasted, blown away,
awestruck,
all the things you can imagine, but at their full meaning. I mean, I was literally not prepared. Yeah. No matter how many times I've seen pictures, it's like you cannot understand
the scope, the grasp,
like the gravitas of the situation until you've been there and viewed it with your own eyes.
Yeah, I agree completely. Like, I just had to sit down and just be for a minute because it was so immense and so beautiful.
It's life-changing in the way that your mind contemplates it for days, even weeks, maybe even months after you've been there.
I can't encourage everybody enough to go and experience it because, like Dave was saying, I've seen pictures of the Grand Canyon.
I have see some more right now.
I've watched the National Geographic specials. I've watched the Nova specials on the wonders of the world and all this. I felt pretty familiar with the Grand Canyon. Being there, it feels different. Your body feels different. You're at this elevation. The air around you, it feels different. It smells different. There is this sacred hush over the people that are there. Mm-hmm. It's like a library hush. Even the children, while they're still being children, were quietly being children. Mm-hmm. Like it was, for us, such a moving time that, and for those of you that have met me, you understand I love food. I don't like to skip meals. I like my meals. And we did not even lunch. We took in every look that they had a pullover for. We stopped. Every bit that we could walk, we walked. We did all the things, and we just soaked up every
and we stopped a lot.
View.
We grabbed each other's sleeve a lot.
A lot. Like, are you good? Because there are bits where there's.
Well, I was thinking more like, look at this.
Yeah, no. Yeah,
look over here.
Yeah, no, we did that quite a bit, and we took pictures, and we even said this as we were taking pictures, that we were taking pictures so that we could have the memory of the feeling that we had, not so that we could share, because we understood, having seen all the pictures,
it brings back the feeling,
they don't translate.
Yes. But like, it is quite textbook. Like, when you see a picture, it's almost like it's too picture perfect. It's like, if you don't understand, like,
the depth.
You, like, when you're there in person, and like, when you're looking at a screen, it looks like this, you know? But when you're there in person, it's this. It's
you can't even see it all with your eyes. You have to
scan, like, literally like a panorama view to see it all.
You can't take it all in. And there were the people that were there sharing the space with us, all were very, very courteous. I would say probably a good 80 to 85% were foreign, or like definitely like non. When they were in conversation with each other, because you caught it as you walked past, they were speaking other languages, and I identified probably French for sure, German, I think Japanese, definitely Korean. So several different languages that were happening, you know, as you're passing each other on the trails and whatnot. It was just a beautiful cohesion of humanity.
Let me encourage you. Let me interject here for a second. Like, even if you don't go to them yourself on a regular basis, you can see how much it's impacted us in national park.
Yeah.
So call your representatives and tell them to protect our national parks.
Yes, please.
Because it's important. Like, there's a lot of things, and there's a lot of gravity to it. And also, if you don't go visit your national parks, then what are you doing? Go visit your national parks.
Just
there's
go
probably
see
one within a day drive of you, and go see things and get out there, because the world and its stress is a lot right now.
Yeah.
And it's a good escape.
Being out in this natural space.
What's really important.
Indeed. Yeah. And we got to meet several birds there that we did not anticipate. Lots of corvids. I'm not sure if they're crows or ravens that were out there, but
Probably
they were out
ravens.
in numbers.
They were gigantic.
They were huge. And they were not afraid of people. We got to see some elk. Dave saw a ring-tailed squirrel, which is amazing. We saw several herds of antelope just out. We witnessed wild horses and wild cows.
Yes.
We did not know that was a thing. It is a thing out there.
It is a thing.
Yeah. Yeah. So Grand Canyon was fantastic.
It was fantastic. And we got back, you know,
just bowled over.
Exhausted that night. And was that, I can't even remember what we had.
We had some Mexican food. It didn't matter. Food? Like nothing.
We could barely walk to the restaurant. We'd walk so much that day.
Also, we were just so emotionally
taken aback.
Like, we had to be on pause for everything.
Even the next day, it was hard for me to check back in. Like, I'm glad we didn't have a show the next day.
Same.
Well, or maybe I'm disappointed because it might have went to a whole nother level.
I don't know. I'm glad. I was grateful for the way that things turned out, because the next day, on the way to...
We had one more show on Wednesday. So we knew we had to start heading that direction if we wanted to not have a huge drive.
Yes.
So we decided to drive, but we also decided that we would have something to do that day.
Oh, hold on. Let's back up a minute, because while at the Grand Canyon, once we finally found the bathroom, they had set up all over these booths and stalls.
The Navajo.
Mostly from the Navajo Nation.
Yeah. And
there were so many gorgeous pieces, artisan pieces, pottery, jewelry, hair pieces, pipes.
So that they know also, like, in order to sell at the national park, if you're not the park gift shop,
yes,
then you have to be a member of a tribal nation.
Yes.
And you have to only sell goods that are handmade and sourced in the United States.
From your tribe.
From tribal nations.
Yes.
So it was really cool seeing the artwork, and a lot of it is very similar to artwork that has been around for hundreds of years, you know, and seeing that, we came across some artwork that we really liked.
Yeah.
And it came home with.
Yes.
And I see you're wearing yours.
I am, and you're wearing yours. Yes.
So we got these necklaces that match.
It was our one splurge. This is the one thing with because we were there, like Dave was saying, to celebrate our 25 years of marriage. And we had seen the booths, and we were walking the rim just completely emotionally big right now. And he said, hey, the 25th is the silver anniversary, right? I'm like, let's go.
Because they make sterling silver.
Silver
turquoise,
jewelry.
So the sterling silver being the 25 years. And then the feather, unique to us this year because a lot of you know that we've had bird friends come into our lives.
Yeah.
And also we've written, even before the birds came into our life, we've been working on 2 different songs about birds. And using a lot of bird metaphors in our music lately.
I've always loved feathers. I have bouquets of feathers in vases like one would keep flowers.
I was always enamored with the specific part about, I've always been enamored with like Native American culture.
Yes.
But the thing that like really always drew my eye was the headdress and the feathers.
The feathers.
And to find out a little bit about that, because Ashley asked her, well, you go ahead and say, when we said we're buying these feathers, we want to buy them.
Yeah. Because they're significant to us.
They're significant to us. But you asked
the ladies that we bought them from, they were friends with the artist. And they told us a little bit about him and a little bit about them and their history. And I said, look, feathers are really significant to us. What do they mean in your culture, though? I'd like, do you have a moment to teach me? And she was so generous with her words and her emotional content, because it's not her responsibility to teach me about her culture.
No.
But she took the time.
Yes.
And she said that they believe that feathers are a gift from the sky, and they also carry our prayers to Creator and to people who have already left our realm. And it was just so moving. She was moved by it. It moved me. And just so, everything just was so weighty. Yeah, just so meaningful.
So feathers are so important to like the Native American nations and the culture that they actually have an exception in the American law because it's against the law for any American citizen to own bald eagle feathers.
Except for native tribes.
Native tribes.
Yep.
So,
because it's so culturally significant for them.
And I think, though, there shows some trust there, too, because they're not out there just hunting the American eagle.
Come on.
For their feathers. They accept them as gifts from the sky.
Gifts from the sky,
so that
it was so meaningful. And she was so just beautiful in her response to me. And I thanked her for taking the time to tell me about her culture.
And if you come to one of our live shows and you want to see it, let us know, because usually
we've been wearing them quite a bit.
Quite a bit. It's a pretty. We've been looking for jewelry. At least I have that I can wear like at least one in a single piece that's like almost constantly with me. Because I've had stuff in the past that's either broke or I've moved on from, and I hadn't had something that I normally regularly wear. But this is nice. So.
Well, in her explanation, she said when she was just being so generous with her cultural significance, I thanked her, and she said, thank you for having big ears. So for those of you not in the Native culture or outside of a culture and you're visiting somebody else's culture, just remember to keep the big ears, because there are people that they really want to share, and it's important. It's important for them to share.
Passed on, right?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
A lot of what we heard is like, I learned the beating from my grandmother.
Oh, so much of that. I learned how to do the pottery. I learned how to do the weaving. Yeah. And I'm teaching my children and my grandchildren.
Of course, their pottery was amazing.
Beautiful. Just beautiful work and beautiful people. Just such a lovely experience. It just compounded.
It did.
Such an amazing experience that we were having.
Back to Tuesday. The day after.
We said, let's go somewhere else.
And we decided to go somewhere else. And we were looking at a couple places, but we decided the front runner and the most highest on our list was the Painted Desert and the
Petrified
Forest, which is one national park.
Yes. And mostly, I'm gonna admit it to you right now. Mostly the reason we picked that is because we had done enough walking.
Yeah, we tried to get something where we had to do. There was some trails.
There's still some trails. We did them.
A couple miles that day for sure. But it wasn't, probably the 8 or 10 miles.
We were at high elevation the entire time. Now, Nashville sits at a whopping 567 feet above sea level. And we were easily at 5,000, 7,000, 8,000 feet
most
of our trip.
Yeah.
So we had walked, and the Grand Canyon was like 7,600, something like that, 7,400 maybe.
It was high.
I can't remember. You can look it up. So we had walked miles and miles. Dave in improper footwear for as much walking as we had done. So we wanted little to no walking, and a lot of the Petrified Forest and the Painted Desert is driving.
There's a lot of driving in it, so that was nice. Man, first of all, the petrified wood, I've heard that a lot of it has been, it used to have a lot more crystallization to it, and a lot of it was, snatched up.
Lifted.
But the petrified forest and the logs were huge.
Still amazing.
They were still amazing, and how it soaked up the minerals and the history of it.
There was one hike in that we did not do because it was like 3 miles out,
Yeah.
but they said that it hosted a 10-foot wide log, and I can't even fathom. Maybe it was a big slab of it. That's what they were saying. Yeah. I don't know.
Not that big, but it was the biggest one in the park
because we didn't see it.
And then the colors and the landscape, and they even say that a lot of people that theorize, and I don't fall in this camp, I'm going to go on record as saying that I do believe we landed on the moon, but a lot of people that believe that the moon landing was faked think that it was filmed in this part of
well,
the
it
country.
did feel like a little bit of a different planet.
It definitely felt like a different planet, and the colors like lavender and turquoise.
Amazing, yeah.
And yellow and orange
in the
and
rock.
Siennas and all the colors. Look at me breaking out something other than red or blue.
I know, it's amazing.
But there was so many colors.
So many colors.
And it was that was incredible to see, and it was like
again, we took pictures.
Completely different.
We took many pictures for our own memory.
And I think it does translate. That one translates more to
a little
me
better
in the photo, because a lot of the Grand Canyon is the size and the scope, where a lot of this was more the colors.
Yeah.
And the foreign, aspect of the landscape. So it was a great day after.
It was windy.
It was windy. At one point when we were doing a little walk, it kind of almost blew my feet out from under me.
Yes.
It came up so fast and so hard.
Yeah.
And it was like close to the ground type of wind, where I felt like my feet almost flew out from under me.
It was wild.
And I was like, wow, okay.
It was wild.
So one other thing about actually a couple other things about the park, the petroglyphs, where the prehistory Native Americans lived, and some petroglyphs that they had found and that you could see with your own eyes were really nice to see that out in the wild, so to speak, rather than in a museum. And that was really cool.
It was cool.
And then the old car that had just been abandoned on the side of Route 66. Route 66 used to go through the parkland, and at one point a Studebaker had broken down, and they just left it on the side of the road of what used to be Route 66. And it never got
it's like
it's owned by the park
picture
now,
taking place now, and Dave and I walked around it just a bit looking for where the old 66 was, because there are bits of Route 66 that we were on, you can get on it and off again, but there are also bits that are just gone. Either they took it up or it's been covered over by dirt and desert.
Interstate I-40 from the
Studebaker,
standing on the Route 66, the old Route 66. And it was just basically sand and plants growing up.
Yeah, so we found the line of where the road had been. It was really interesting and disheartening. We saw on our trip a lot of depression. And when
small town depression.
When I say depression, I don't mean mental well-being. I mean 60 to 80% of the businesses had been shuttered, and the same amount of houses had been shuttered, and we're just sitting and you wonder, where does a person go to get a grocery around the area?
Hours away,
I mean, how there were stretches of road where I was concerned about a gas station.
Or if you break down, he's gonna come get you.
How?
Yeah.
How?
So, it was crazy. So that night we made it back into New Mexico.
We went back to Grant.
Yeah, I think we said, back.
We did.
We went on Route 66 and we got ourselves a pizza.
We did.
And we kind of ordered it. We decided, let's give ourselves a taste of home. Do something that makes it feel like, we're not on the road. I guess at this point we've
been out for a while.
9 or 10 days. And we ordered ourselves a pizza. We took it back to our hotel. We got a 6-pack of local beer. We each polished off one whole beer.
Yeah.
And had a couple slices of pizza. We watched
so good. It was so good.
And crashed out.
Yeah.
And then the next morning we got up and we drove off the interstate and some back roads. And man, like this was the point where in the trip where I was like, oh, we're going to come up on a town, and it would say a town, and we'd get to the town limits, and it would say population 53.
Yeah, there was one where it wasn't 5. People. It was 5 people 5. In one of the towns. I'm like, how do you get a population for that?
What? We drove, and then we came out, and we did come in, like, Portales is a decent-sized town.
Yeah.
It's not huge by any stretch, but that was the final date of our tour. It was a Wednesday night. And
we were at Uncle Mike's
listening room.
Yep.
And
Phil hosted us there.
What a way to end the tour.
What an amazing night. No, it was an amazing night.
People came out. There was a good little crowd.
It was so cool.
It was, again, we sold so much merch on Wednesday night. It was so grateful way to end off the tour. The tour was live streamed on YouTube. Yep. Which I'll post the link so you guys can check it out if you haven't seen it. That show, it was, we had an opener, and she was a sweet younger lady that, going off to college in the fall. Yep. Did she say she got a Berkeley scholarship? I can't remember.
Berkeley, I think,
So, she opened up for us, did a great job, and we
got to meet her mom too.
Got to meet her mom.
Really sweet.
We played. It was just that was a great show. We sold a ton, like I said, we sold a ton of merch, had a great show. We'll post the link so you can check out.
So we got in town. When we got in town, we rolled up, and Phil was so gracious to host us. He had keys to a hotel room for us. Like, he's like, here you go. It's all set and ready for you. Let's get you sound checked and then get you back so you can rest.
And sound check.
And like, just a beautiful welcoming. And then when we came back for the show, I mean, he had the snacks and everything all laid out for us. He's like, you're all good.
We grabbed a little bit of food again to go back to the hotel room. There wasn't a lot to choose from. It was like only fast food was open late, which was actually even a surprise. Like, even the town we live in doesn't have much open at night.
Man, we roll up the sidewalks at 9.
A lot of times we didn't have fast food late. Yeah. So I was grateful for that. But I did, like, the small town, and it was an old town. And after leaving there, I went the wrong way down a one-way street for a little piece. Realized it was weird because we came out like the side of a driveway.
Where there was no sign.
Posted.
Yeah, there was no sign.
And we started driving because like I knew where the hotel was. I could see it. It was one of the few high-rise buildings. And I was driving, and then I realized that we were in a
somebody gave a friendly honk. Yeah. You know a mad honk from a friendly honk.
And
you
I
know
was like, because we went by them, and they were on the side road.
Yeah, they did.
And I was like, and I was like, wait a minute, like, why are all the cars facing me that are parked on the side of the road? And I was like, oh my gosh, this is a one-way street. So we quickly got off of there and we went back.
No, you kept everybody alive, and thank you to the person who did the friendly honk. It was good that we went
that far and only had that one driving incident. Yeah. So that was fun. But we had a great night's sleep, and then, we just came back after that. It was still a little much to drive in one day, so we did spend an extra night in the hotel, even though we probably could have, road dogged it and made it home.
You know what? We're at the stage of life in which we would rather be safe and well rested and get back home, because by the time we did get back home, we had just enough time to do a couple loads of laundry, visit the animals, and then we had our regular residency here.
And the very following week we were out, and then like in Eastern Tennessee.
Yeah, so we had your mom come and visit us after that for a little bit, and then we went back out to Eastern Tennessee. Yep.
And we got some more tours coming up.
Yeah.
So we're excited about those. Make sure you're following us.
Yeah, and look up if you are in the area of some of these places, please go check them out and support them, because they are hosting live music. They are helping us get out there.
Remind them they want us to come back.
Yeah.
They all wanted us to come back. Everybody, at least to our face, they said they would come back.
Yeah,
and we're planning on something maybe in the fall or next spring.
Remind them, if you're in their area, remind them they like us. And we'll get back out there. Yeah.
Just tell them we sent you. Also, let us know. Make sure you're liking, subscribing, and commenting on this video. Let us know if you'd like us to do more tour recaps.
Yeah. We can do that.
Let us know what also you'd like to hear about on the tour recaps, and how we can make it more interesting for you and funner for you. Also, if you want to have a house party, or house concert, or something of that nature, we can supply the sound. We can supply a lot of things. So there's very little. It can be as big or as grand as you want it, or as small and as intimate as you want it. And It doesn't hurt to ask. So
yeah,
email us.
Let's start a conversation.
Yeah, email us at sugarlimeblue@gmail.com. Sugarlimeblue@gmail.com, and we can answer those questions for you.
Yeah.
And set up a time to discuss it on the phone, and we can work it out. This is not our first house concert. Mm-mm. We've done several.
Yeah.
Many.
And they're fun. It's really fun to get to know everybody a little more intimately.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Do it. There's no reason not to. We'll work it out and we'll have a great time. And meantime, check out our Sunday shoutouts. Make sure you've liked and subscribed, and we'll see you soon.
See you soon. Hey friends, Ashley of SugarLimeBlue here, wanting to share our special bundle with you. We got new shirts and our Roots guitar logo. Super duper excited about it. And we have hats to match. Check it out. Beautiful. We love them. I don't usually wear hats, but Dave said I should put one on, so there I go, rocking my hat.
Adorable.
Get yours now.